Never get that thing. I feel like a news person when I have this on. This is Alexander Diane Rodgers reporting live from sunny San Francisco. It's a wonderful 61 degrees, but tonight we'll be getting down to 49 with a southeasterly wind at 17 miles per hour. Taking it back to you in New York, Chris.
Well, I'm fine over here. It's snowy. It's a good 31 degrees. I've been inside all day. I do, however, want to give a shout out to my family and my friends in Houston right now. They're doing okay, but to all the other people in Houston, hopefully we can give you a laugh during this time. Y'all are at the light at the end of the tunnel. I see it's going to be 60, 70 degrees next week in Houston. So just hold on, y'all. So sorry to hear all this happening in Houston. Global warming is real. Ted Cruz, we all got in his ass. On Twitter today, someone snapped a picture of him going to Cancun. And this is the statement that he released. With school canceled for the week, our girls asked to take a trip with friends. Wanting to be a good dad, I flew down with them last night and am flying back this afternoon. My staff and I are in constant communication with state and local leaders to get to the bottom of what happened in Texas. We want our power back, our water on, our home is warm. I don't believe any of this.
Lies. You got caught. You got caught and you had to come back. You sorry you got caught. You sorry somebody snapped a photo of you. You should have flown private, you big and bad, but you too cheap. You had to go commercial. See, you should have gotten what Kenya knew. Kenya went on and got one of them Delta Connects. You could have flown private and nobody would have known where your happy butt was because nobody would have been looking for you anyway.
I mean, I love the power of social media because if it wasn't for that, we would have never known.
Mm-hmm. And he wouldn't have to bring his happy butt back. He was going to Cancun to have big fun. Big fun.
We do have 2 new movie trailers.
Yes, we do. I looked at Cruella. You saw Cruella?
Yes, with the Nicki Minaj wig.
Oh.
Like, what Barb is at Disney right now? It is perfect.
Do you think that it's going to be like Maleficent where they humanize Cruella de Vil and they show us why she is the way she is?
I was actually surprised by the trailer. It looked really good. And Emma Stone, she can act. She's basically a sober Lindsay Lohan, she has the career that Lindsay Lohan was supposed to have.
I mean, what's sad is even Paris Hilton is out here and has gotten it together.
Also, the looks. I was very pleased with the looks for Cruella because Cruella is known for these Vogue runway black and white looks.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Now, what I haven't seen is the Mortal Kombat trailer. So I'm going to look at that right now. I love a good trailer review, sometimes better than the movie.
Right.
Because it's let me see what you can do with 1 minute and 47 seconds. Can you give me something where I'm or is it, well, that was 2 minutes and 29 seconds. I can't get back.
I liked it for what it was. The last Mortal Kombat was Annihilation. So the bar is in hell along with Scorpion. You got to lower your standards a little bit. But this one at least has blood. It has fatalities. It has a rated R rating. So that's what we can expect,
I am like everybody else. Where was Katana? Melina is bringing Danny Minogue. And it's okay, we like Danny. You Won't Forget About Me was a cute song, but Kylie is the star. Kylie is the twin we care about. You don't know who I'm talking about, do you?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
But how does the clone get top billing over the original? That's what I want to know.
I think they're probably going to try to do a trilogy where they're going to give you a little Katana, then take it right back to see if they can get a sequel. And then the sequel will be about Katana, because I feel like this is the Sub-Zero story.
It's the Scorpion story, actually.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they're going to focus on Katana next movie in the franchise.
I think it's going to do really well. I mean, we all still inside. Nobody can go to the theaters. So I think everyone's going to watch it.
It'll be interesting to see now what doing well for a movie means, because are we really going back to the theater? Like, is box office just done? Because this HBO Max, child, HBO Max said, they said, oh, Netflix, you thought you was doing something.
Right.
Hulu, you think you keeping it cute. Disney Plus, okay, girl, I see you, but let me show you how it's done. They walked in, they said, big shoulders, boom, 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 boom. We are home box office, and don't you forget it. Now check that with new releases.
They are really coming for Netflix neck. Disney is lucky they have WandaVision because that's the #1 TV show in the world right now. But you know, they still have Disney on notice.
Disney
but
is
they're
like
on Netflix neck right now.
Disney is gonna be okay because that's gonna be nostalgia and family friendly. You ain't never gonna be able to get away from it. Disney will always have a spot. But now
Right.
HBO, I feel like honestly, it's cable that's really put on notice. HBO
Right.
now is like, look, we got all the movies, we've got good series. I feel like those are big three now. Instead of Fox, ABC, and NBC, it's now HBO, Netflix, and Disney Plus. And then Disney Plus also gives you the sports.
Oh yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
So in more TV news, Tamron Hall had quite the week. Did you see Cordell's interview?
You know what? I saw Cordell's interview, and the truth is, you could look at any closed closet door and get the same thing.
I didn't realize how like big that gay rumor was. So that's what they were talking about, weren't they?
It was, and I suppose he's upset that he can't get like sports casting jobs. But the thing is, you're mean and you're unlikable. You are arrogant. You really have this air that you know more than people, that you're better than people. And it's like, girl, just because you was able to run fast with a thick ass, don't mean you're any smarter than the average gay bear.
And also, you know, he was quite the male chauvinist when he was with Portia too. He didn't really give her much rights.
Sure was.
I told you I met him and Portia at my job, right, when I was in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was just so.
At that sports bar.
No, that was Beyonce.
Oh.
I worked at Maggiano's.
Oh, okay.
And Portia was just so like docile, like just so meek. So just, I don't know, seeing this Portia on TV, it was two different Portias.
Well, that's what happens when you marry an angry sissy and a bitter bottom. I also want to mention, he never brought up and she never brought up the nude booty toot video that had all of us cemented in the fact that, you know, you were doing something sus. That was never mentioned. That was never brought up. I mean, let's talk about why we believe the rumor. Let's talk about why. Let's talk about the fact that you had your butt up, tooted. He had a toot tea.
I did see the Sherry Pie interview, and it is crazy. Like, RuPaul Drag Race fans, like, they are ravenous. Like, I didn't appreciate how they were coming for Tamron Hall. Like, this woman who's been in journalism for 30 years, telling her, you know, what to do and do her research and stuff like that. And I'm not sure if you saw the interview, but she was really letting people know what time it was before she got to the interview.
She was like, we interview terrible people all the time so we can understand what goes on and why these things happen.
But yeah, the interview was like, it was held very seriously. It had a lot of substance to it. And she held him accountable for his actions. I mean, he didn't come on there to promote anything. I honestly wanted, as a viewer, just see why did he do it. He was accountable for it and he admitted what he did. You know, like, she brought up a good point. Like R. Kelly on the Gayle interview, he didn't admit anything. You know, he thought what he was doing was right, actually. But Sherry Pie actually, like, you know, I did it. I acknowledge it. You know, I'm gonna try. I'm in therapy or whatever. I mean, he's still a terrible person, but you know, I just wanted to get a sense of like, you know, what it's been like and why did he do what he did. Was he like held accountable by the police? He is not criminal yet. Right now, he's just a pariah right now, which is punishment enough. Like his life is pretty much like his professional life is over.
Yeah. In other karma news, Tory Lanez goes viral because of, well, what the hell was on his head? Oh my goodness. Don't shoot Meg Thee Stallion because life will come back at you fast. I mean, you can see all the worry, you can see all the stress, you can see, I mean, I don't know if he's developed trichotillomania, but child, his follicles have left his head. I have never seen anything more patchy except a Tyler Perry plotline.
I might have to see it. I didn't look at it.
Yeah, you need to see this because it's karma all over his scalp. He looks like Gorilla Glue Girl at this point. Actually, she looks better. It looks like he got in a fight with Gorilla Glue and lost.
Oh my God.
Yep.
He went outside like this?
Mm-hmm. So have you heard about Moniece, Dr. Dre, and April Jones?
That is the meat of our story today. I mean, where to begin? I mean, it's a come up for April.
It is, I mean, to go from Omarion to teeny little fizzle pop to Dr. Dre, that is a come up. That is a true come up. My question is, one, how did she meet Dr. Dre? I figured Dr. Dre would be with, how do I say this delicately? A higher level of hoe, not someone so publicly ran through. I mean, this girl has gotten on her own Instagram Live and talked about all of her sexual exploits with band members, fathers of band members, brothers of band members. Then she was talking about Shaq. She was talking about just a plethora of penis. And so I want to know why that piqued Dr. Dre's interest. I mean, is it like, oh, everybody else is eating it, so I'll eat it too? Is that what it is? You didn't want to miss out? That boggles my mind. What also has me as the captain of confused is, how did Moniece, one, find out, and two, why would a Dr. Dre waste time on someone who is important as a pimple on a gnat's ass? Because that's what Moniece gives. Like, I couldn't think of anyone more unpowerful, inconsequential, or irrelevant than Moniece Slaughter.
Moniece is the type that is obsessed with her enemies. And, you know, she really hated April, so she wanted to keep tabs on her, try to like blackmail her at all costs, you know? So Moniece doesn't have anything better to do, you know?
She's a jobless one, so yeah, she has nothing better to do.
Moniece loves attention, though. She was so giddy with that information. Like, you saw how happy she was, just in delight, trying to spill that tea. Oh yeah, they've been together. I know. And now she's like crying, like, well, not crying, but she's just like, oh my God, like they sent people to my phone and he's threatening me. I mean, she should have been minding her business. And Dr. Dre needs to like learn to just, I don't know, he just has too much money to be worried about that, you know?
To pal around with peasants. But you see, when you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas.
April is a really good-looking woman, though. So it's not like, you know, what is he doing with her, you know, in my opinion.
I just feel like I feel like she's a dime a dozen, especially for a Dr. Dre in a place like Los Angeles. Like, you could find a pretty woman with a better reputation, or at least one who knows how to keep her business out the street, or not beat up her own vagina on Instagram Live.
What does April do?
For a living?
Yeah. Well, Jason Lee mentioned that he dropped her from Hollywood Unlocked. He said he fired her.
He sure did.
But he praised her come up, though.
What was her come up, Dr. Dre?
Yes.
Well, you see, I don't think that's a come up. Dr. Dre seems like they're gonna go out a couple times. He might take her on a vacation here or there, but I don't think she's going to be the new girlfriend. I think that she's a good time girl, but not the new girlfriend.
And he's old enough to like be her dad. Like an
Yeah.
old dad too.
Mm-hmm. He got that uncle face.
Yes. But he was just fresh out of the hospital and just right into the news. Like, I don't know, he just doesn't need all this like attention. He already has like this huge divorce, and his ex-wife is saying April running around in her clothes. Did you hear about that?
I did hear about it, and I can see April doing it.
Well, she's trying to get a court order to get back her stuff, like to go to his house and get her stuff. I think it was a Cordell team. He kicked her out.
Mm.
So this just came from Love B. Scott. April Jones claims Omarion joined Love and Hip Hop to help dispel gay rumors. His management thought it would be good for him to show who he was in his life because there were so many gay rumors. So to show he was in a relationship with the woman and having kids and all that, they thought it would be great. April now says she's back to her fun self. If you love somebody, you're going to do it. But it just felt very controlled. I wasn't really myself. When I came out that relationship, which was fully fucking controlled and it was a lot going on, I was like, oh my God, I totally lost myself in that. Now I'm back to being fun April, the April who doesn't give a fuck.
I think she means the April who gets fucked. But sadly, I could see that, but that wasn't going to help him with the gay rumors. The only thing that was going to help him with the gay rumors was him telling what really happened with Razby and Chris Stokes and where he was in the room. Now that would have helped with the gay rumors. What would have helped with the gay rumors was you not going on tour with Lil Bow Wow, who every 5 minutes when y'all had your little reality show was snapping, popping, and waving that finger in the camera's face. I would say if you want to help with the gay rumors, don't betray if you want to help with them. But you didn't do any of those things. You just went on a television show with a woman you had no intention on marrying, and she decided to hop from dick to dick with your bandmates. That didn't help the gay rumors because it really looked like you couldn't even keep a woman, a hoe, no less.
He couldn't control his beard.
And the thing is, that means y'all have to, if she's going to be your beard, then you have to have a united front. But like Cordelia, you didn't know how to do it. See, if you're going to have a beard, that beard has to be your good Judy. That's the problem. They wasn't good Judys. They wasn't good Judys. They wasn't shopping and kikiing together.
Wasn't Al and Star Jones, they were kiki at first.
Now, I could see Al and Star Jones sharing schlong. I could see Al and Star Jones enjoying the threesome of it all. Or I could see them being like, okay, you gonna have the house tonight, or am I gonna have the house tonight? I could see that too. Or maybe they just kept their foolishness at the Four Seasons.
Or Cory Booker and Rosario Dawson. It look like they like each other, genuinely. I'm just saying, they look like they genuinely like each other.
Honestly, I just can't get over her selling that beautiful mansion she had and moving to freezing cold Newark. It's the cold that I can't get. It's the cold for me.
But moving on, Toni Braxton's new look. What do we think about it?
I agree with you. She did kind of look like Amber Rose, but I guess like when you've got the shades and the bald blonde head, I'm not mad at the look. I want to know if she's secretly married to Birdman. And I really want to know what happened with that engagement ring that was lost on the Delta airline. We never found it. We never heard about it. What happened with the insurance?
That was insurance fraud. Low key, high
Can't
key.
believe. Now, I want to know, how did she get away with insurance fraud in Fulton? Tell your business, County.
I like how she looks, and I'm all for reinventing yourself, but why you gotta reinvent yourself with someone else's signature look, you know?
And then also, Tamar did that same short blonde. So it's really kind of been done, and then it was done in your family.
At the end of the day, Toni got the voice. That's what's working for her.
I'll also say it could be, you know, she's got lupus, and sometimes that affects her hair. So it might just be like, you know what, my hair ain't acting right, so we just gonna shave it.
I mean, there's wigs.
Wigs are hot.
Good point.
I can say, I'm like, this hot ass shit.
Shell Underwood, is that her name?
Oh, yeah.
So Lorianne Gibson made headlines. She said that Lady Gaga fired her over email.
I read that. She said, yes, people were getting in her ear. I agree with that, especially because it was early in Gaga's career. She didn't know really what was going on.
Gaga was managed by Vince, and Vince introduced Gaga to Lorianne Gibson. And I gotta say, I mean, she's crazy, but she really put Gaga on the map with those moves. Like, everyone remembers Bad Romance, Paparazzi, I believe Born This Way too. Like, that was all Lorianne Gibson. Like, she has some iconic dances for Gaga. So it just sucks that, you know, she got so big that, like, oh, okay, well, I don't need you anymore. I'm kind of on Lorianne Gibson's side. It's a shame.
Lorianne is still Lorianne. It was more of, okay, we've created this iconic stuff, but now we want to go in a different direction. I think it was just more, it was improperly handled by the way that they fired her. How long are you going to work with the same choreographer, the same producers? You're going to have to do something new. And Lorianne is still out here creating for other people. Lorianne's talent will never be matched or denied.
Right. And they were saying that she was helping other artists too, and they wanted her to just be for Gaga only. And they said that, you know, she was trying to be a star herself.
Lorianne is a star herself because she's so good at what she does. She doesn't need to fiend for the spotlight. We're looking for her. We're looking for the creative mind behind the creative artist. And also she said, excuse me, I have other artists that are working with me. I like multiple streams of income. And girl, we don't know when you're going to flop because everybody woke up one morning and they were done with Katy Perry. It's like the Sandman came in the night and sprinkled everybody with magic. You done with Katy Perry does. Because I'm telling you, we woke up and she released Witness and none of us saw it. How you gonna release Witness and nobody sees it?
I'm telling you, Dula Peep is the new Supreme. Like, she snatched all of Katie's pop powers. Dula Peep is that girl.
For the moment.
For the moment.
And Dula Peep is another non-dancing heifer, so she better watch herself.
Right.
Because they switch those mediocre white girls out just like that.
Yes, in a Thanos snap.
Willa Ford.
Ashley Simpson.
Hoku.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh no, Vanessa Carlton.
Michelle Branch. Avril Lavigne.
Oh.
Let's stop, because I can keep going.
Michelle Branch, they didn't even let her sit down. Child, they got the hook for her.
Not the hook.
And speaking of the hook, there is going to be a very special verses with D'Angelo and friends at the Apollo. And I can't wait to see who the friends are. I hope they have Angie Stone.
I want it to be Maxwell. I think that would be good.
Yes. Well, I was saying Angie because, you know, she helped write and produce that D'Angelo How Does It Feel album.
Yeah, but they probably got bad blood. Do they have kids? Do they have a kid together? They share a son, right?
Really? I don't know. I know she knocked her daughter's teeth out. I know that. And then they went to the dentist and the dentist said they were rotten anyway and they was coming out. And the daughter said, well, they were my teeth and I should have been able to keep them in my head until they fell out. It was during the R&B diva era.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
She knocked her daughter's teeth out?
With the base of a lamp. We weren't doing the show at the time.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I mean, that's child discipline back in the day for you. I mean.
No, this was like when everybody was grown.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
If that was.
Never mind.
Oh my God.
Speaking of friends in that industry, Lauryn Hill's album, The Miseducation, has finally gone diamond.
You know what? I see why it took so long. It was on Lauryn time. That album was like, I'll get to it I'll get to it. Let me get my energy right. Y'all can wait.
She's now the first female rapper in history to ever have an album sell 10 million copies. I mean, good for her. I just hope, all those people that helped made that album get paid.
I think that they are, and that's why she ended up in tax debt. I'll tell her congratulations when my energy is right. So give me a couple years.
Can we get to the TV mess now? Because I want to talk about Jersey, because I got a lot to say.
Okay.
July, that's when they started filming. Atlanta started filming in July. I'm like, where are the masks? Like, they made sure, like, the Atlanta ladies were just, like, locked down, not around anybody. There was, like, 50 people in the first scene. Did you see that party?
I did see the party. I heard Marge say, okay, we can hug, we're tested. So I think they tested the people for the party.
I guess. I mean, they were tested on Atlanta and they weren't hugging people. It was like all elbows and everything.
I saw some hugs. I saw some elbows. I think it's more what everybody's comfortable with doing. They're different. You know what, though? They're different production companies.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
And also, Atlanta may have had different rules than Jersey. And in Jersey, they may have said, like, I could see Jackie paying for everybody to get tested because Jackie has the money. Who in Atlanta has that kind of money other than Candy Burris?
Well, Kenya can't even afford a nanny. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what Kenya truly can't afford. Her husband's attention. He wouldn't pay her if his life depended on it.
Teresa Giudice definitely wanted attention at this party because the way she was going around, oh, yeah, he was at the gym or something. What was he doing? Like, I'm just like, what are you doing, girl? Like, it was so intentional and contrived the way she was trying to, like, get that rumor out. Like, she was going from table to table. And Teresa, of all people, the irony, like how she went into orbit when people was talking about her relationship and who was cheating on her. But why are you doing this at the party? Now, see, I can see if she talked about it afterward. But when she's at the party and going from table to table asking people about it, it just seemed, I don't know, it looked like production, like, go do this, go do this.
I would say I wouldn't even put it on production. I feel like it's her trying to do what production might think to ask her to do. Where she's like, oh, you want me to do this? You think you want me to do this? I'm gonna think for you and go on and really ham-fist it. And that makes it disingenuous. I also feel like she knows this is her one check. This is all she has. And she is willing to hurt anyone, embarrass herself, do whatever she has to do to keep the money coming in. She will show her cervix for a quarter. I also think she is truly and genuinely, deeply, to the atoms of her being, to the bottom of, well, I can't really say she has a soul, but her hair follicles, since she's a hairy little thing. She really is jealous of Jackie, of her stand-up husband who didn't go to jail and ruin their lives, her massive family wealth that she pretended to have. And I think she also wishes she was thinner and a blonde.
Right. Jackie has the career. Jackie also has 4 kids and a father that's in their lives. Jackie called it, you want what I have. And the thing is, Jackie put out the olive branch. Like last season, they weren't on the same page, but she even tried to hook Teresa up with the man. I just didn't get why Teresa was coming at her like that.
Because that's going to be Teresa's plot line, because Teresa's life is a mess. She's hopeless. She realizes that in 2 or 3 seasons, this check is going to dry up and she's going to have nothing.
Mm-hmm. So we fast forward to Marge's place and, Jackie hears that Teresa's been talking about her husband at her own party. So she tells her, like, why would you spread this? And there's no type of proof. And for those of you who say that Jackie did it last season to Teresa, there was actual pictures of Teresa holding a man's hand. Like, there was photographic evidence. Teresa didn't have any type of evidence. It was just all hearsay. And this really upset Jackie. Like, she was crying and shit like that. She said her husband was like furious. So then she brings up, okay, well, Gia's doing coke. I heard it. I can't prove it, but I heard it was something. And then Teresa, like, it hit a nerve. It really hit a nerve.
And she said,
and she called her all types to see you next Tuesdays.
Jackie even prefaced it with saying, this is an example of what you're doing. What if I said, I heard Gia was doing coke in the bathroom? I don't know who I heard it from, but I heard it. What if I said that and then she went off like she didn't tell her this is an example?
Right.
Teresa is ignorant and willfully obtuse.
She's a very slow woman. Do you think Jackie went below the belt?
No.
I don't think so either, because I think the only way Teresa would get the point is out of that reaction. Like, what if she said something about her daughter? And yeah, I mean, it was fair game to me. A lot of people were saying like, oh, Jackie, even Dorinda was on Twitter and she added Jackie and Teresa, was calling Jackie low.
I'm sorry, Jackie clearly said, for example, what if I said this? For example, and what if? That meant she was not accusing Gia of doing coke, but you are accusing her husband from some rumor you heard, which reminds me of Carlos King and Phaedra all over again. From some rumor you heard from an unnamed source with no evidence that this man is in the gym cheating on you with other men. Now, let's talk about Joe. Let's talk about who was blowing Joe while he was in prison and ICE for years on end. How was he getting his jollies off? Because it certainly wasn't with you.
I appreciate that someone on Twitter got a clip from last season. You remember when Margaret and Danielle got into it, because Danielle brought up her kids. And then Melissa said, come on, Danielle, kids are off limits. And then Teresa said, oh, well, she was just doing an example of the kids. And I'm just like, okay, exhibit A right here. You said it. You said it. So I don't know. If I was Jackie, I would use that clip and run it over and over again.
Teresa's always going to make excuses. She's always going to say it's not the same. And a few ignorant people will ride with her, but I think most thinking people know.
Yeah, and it was a decent first episode.
I was impressed.
It was better than Atlanta.
Oh my God, for the whole season. We're on episode 9 of Atlanta. They gave more in one episode than Atlanta gave in 9.
They found a perfect cast though. Like, it's not the Teresa show anymore. Like, they have Jennifer, they have Jackie, Margaret.
Black Dolores.
Who is still with Frank. I just don't get it.
She's getting it.
From both of them.
I don't think that sickly looking doctor has anything to do with her nether regions.
He was being mean to her too. Like, oh yeah, you want to put my business out there. What about your plastic surgeries?
Marge's husband finally got around to renovating their house, and she said, oh, we're going to hire other contractors. No, you just had to go through that lawsuit and get your coin up with your housewives checks before you could renovate. That's the truth, and that's what happened. You was living in Chateau Chiray and didn't want to tell nobody.
Now, I do want to tell you something. I want to track something I said last episode. Mary from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I do not want her to return now. Like, she does not need to come back after that last episode. Like, I was speechless how she was just digging a bigger hole for herself. Like she basically said she doesn't like black men, particularly dark-skinned black men. She's a colorist. Like, she just, like, I could not believe that she just dug that hole. And she was talking about black men in front of the 7-Eleven when you got a black ass son yourself. Oh my God.
And how do you feel about your son because he's not as light as your husband? Do you want him to bleach too and end up with elbows looking like yours?
And the way she treats her family. She said, I'd rather my family clean my house than strangers.
I don't have the energy for her. And as well as delusion, true and utter delusion, because you sit here in rat fur and secondhand sequins, and you really think you're doing something. And then when they started talking about your marriage and you started crying, it's because you don't know the joy of an orgasm. Andy asked, are you physical? She said, not for the past several years, and we have separate bedrooms. You slept with that man to get a baby because you had to go on and consummate, and that was it. Your life has been an exercise in misery. And these designer labels that you keep saying you have and all this money, girl, if you had real money, your closet would be organized. It wouldn't be one large room of just clutter and crap. And also, I want to know what swap meet he's getting your Dior from, because it ain't Dior, it's Dior. She got misspelled Dior, and then she wanted to keep saying that green loofah dress was Versace. No, honey, that was Versace. Child, he getting you some fake red bottoms from the swap meet or the flea market, and you dumb enough to believe it's real. I can tell by your nasty house and the fact that you got that home health aide in there pretending to be your maid. Girl, boom. You don't pay her, the state does, because your grand husband qualifies under Medicaid.
Yeah, it's not Dior either. It's Dwar because the I is switched.
Oh, Dwar, okay.
Yeah, she has a ticky boom up here. She needs to be analyzed. I'm not sure what she's doing. I think she's a cult leader and believes her own shit.
I mean, when that grandmama had a picture with Jesus, that's when I was concerned.
I don't want to see her back. I think that there's another Black woman they can replace her with in Salt Lake City. It was so cringeworthy too.
When she was talking about, oh, well, light guys are my preference. And Andy was like, you have a Black husband. Yeah, but he's light. And I was just like.
It was, oh my God. I was watching through spliced fingers.
It was just like, you got to hit pause. Oh, wait, hold on. I know I didn't hear that. And how does her husband feel knowing if you failed the paper bag test, you might have a different wife?
Exactly.
B. Simone, did you hear about it?
Yeah, I did. I was hoping we were going to skip over that.
It's a dry week. So, do you think that there was any validity to her point and it was just perhaps the wrong messenger, the wrong plagiarizing messenger?
Nothing about B. Simone says valid to me.
But is she the one to tell us?
Bingo.
It's like, why don't you just keep doing funny videos? Why don't you focus on the funny? I don't tell people how to live their life. I'm figuring that out myself, and we can see you're figuring it out too. But what you can do is get on here and make us laugh. Stick with your talent, baby girl.
She's funny to you?
I didn't say to me, but somebody finds her funny. There are a bunch of people that don't find me funny. That's fine. That's fine. Enough people do.
Mm-hmm. But she plagiarized that entire video?
No, she plagiarized her manifestation book.
I think she's a fraud.
Well, also, it's not even like you've been in a marriage and have kids and, you've been through some ups and downs. You done got with the baby? It's somebody you was chasing after and you've been with them for a good 5-10 minutes and now you're going to tell everybody how to get a man? Why don't you keep a man first before you tell us how to get one and who we need to be?
She's just so annoying. I thought we left her in 2020.
Child, we thought we left love and hip hop in 2022.
I didn't even bother watching that shitty ass reunion.
Family reunion?
Right.
It's a check, and I'm grateful to get it. That's what I'll say about it. That's what everybody says about Basketball Wives. Every reviewer said, well, you know what? I wouldn't watch it, but it's a check. And the thing is, y'all make us watch it because you will tune into my review, Chris's review, Bondi's review, Scotty's review, Jay Lee's Corner's review, everybody on the panel's review, anybody I forgot's review, Forrest's Rock's review. You will watch every review of Basketball Wives, but you will not look at the show. But it's because we make it funny. We make the show tolerable and bearable. And dare I say enjoyable, because you ain't got to look at it.
My last video, they gave me nothing to work with. It was a lot.
Well, these are nothing ass heifers. So you can't expect something from nothing.
And then Kristen is back. I'm like, why is she back? Like, wasn't Cece your whole goddamn storyline?
Mm-hmm.
And no one's in LA, but OG and Evelyn.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Is it gonna be Basketball Wives Atlanta now? Kristen, Jennifer, Malele, and I'm sure somebody else gonna be there.
And you got Phoebe in New Jersey.
Did you see the housing, not apartments, the housing units that she was in? I was like, your baby daddy ain't giving you shit. I mean, that was like, I thought it was gonna be someplace nice like Alpine or something, but no, you weren't even in a house.
And I didn't know she had 2 kids.
She has 2?
2 kids.
Oh.
And she was homeschooling them. I'm like, well, who's homeschooling her?
Nobody, because she was so proud to be ignorant when she said, oh my goodness, you called me a nincompoop. That's from Shakespeare. Who knows about Shakespeare? Anybody who didn't drop out of high school, but you see, your GED self don't know nothing about it. I bet you even Beyonce knows about Shakespeare. I said something nice about her.
That was backhanded shade. You could not help yourself. You might as well say a Janet joke and get it out the way now. We all Basketball Wives. Beyonce like, I see my name and I ain't even do nothing. See what happened?
I was trying to be nice.
But yeah, having Phoebe and Kristen in there just really like made my ass itch. Just every time I see them on my TV, I just don't want to see it. I'd rather even see the Liza chick.
Oh, Lamar Odom's ex?
Yeah.
She'll be interesting to see. I hope she brings something. I'd rather have the Jovan sisters back just because I would love to see them go up against Evelyn, because that way it's Harpy against Harpy.
Yeah, and then the whole conversation, I'm like, is OG and Evelyn even going to be in the same room with each other? Like, I don't think so.
I think they're going to have her meet with Shawnee first, and then Shawnee is going to try to have a sit down so they can save the brand.
I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I thought that it was definitely rooted in colorism. I don't know what Kristen was talking about, because it just really angered me when I saw OG in this room by herself, and she wasn't allowed to, but you have Malaysia that threw a table. You have Evelyn, who's been violent at every season. And then Tammy too. I'm just like, oh my God, really?
Shawnee's the only one who hasn't hit anybody because she knows she'd get sued to oblivion. They'd sue her for every cent she siphoned from Shaq.
And there is a pattern. If you look at past seasons, I mean, there was Royce, there was Jennifer when she was on the outs, and then there was Mika. Like, they bullied Mika so bad.
But they did also bully Keisha, Susie, Lord, and
Good point. Oh, Susie deserved that ass whooping too by that other chick. She wore Susie out too.
And it was Tammy who was going up against Mika, and Mika deserved it because Mika wouldn't fess up. Mika was like, the popular people. Now, the girls did set her up. The girls set her up, but I've watched that fight 450 times, and it was that Mika wouldn't fess up to what she said with the other girls, and production, what happens is production will go to you with them cameras, and they'll show you what was said on the monitor, so you know that heifer's lying, and she lying to your face, and she's acting like production didn't show you what went on, and it was the bold-faced lying that set Tammy off, which is why Mika got her ass handed to her, because all she had to do was fess.
Well, that was...
And I'll say, too, Mika came on too big and bad, too I'm rich, too just trying to be better than everybody. That also honked Tammy off because she was still trying to pry that child support out of her ex's cold, dead hands.
Did we leave anyone out on this season of Basketball Wives?
If we left them out, that means they weren't worth mentioning.
It was funny seeing Jennifer Williams on my TV again.
And that rental. And the fact that she's going to use this repossession as her plot line, and she's going to make a documentary about this guy who supposedly fleeced her. I hope she gets hit with a cease, desist, and a lawsuit. But then again, you can't sue somebody who doesn't have nothing. And OG put her on blast on Twitter, showed a text message saying they trying to give her $5,000 an episode with no hair or makeup. And I'm like, her hair and makeup ain't that good, no way. So I don't know why they would pay for it. You slap a wig on your head and call it macaroni, and you can put some lip gloss on yourself.
Wait, where did this tea come from? Like, OG said that they were paying her $5,000 an episode?
OG posted the receipt on Twitter that Jennifer sent her a message saying they were offering her $5,000 an episode with no hair and makeup.
I mean, do they do that for other reality shows like Housewives and shit like that?
I think everybody's contract is different because OG said you're still on a standard contract after this many years. You need to step it up, sis.
Oh.
But
I never respected Jennifer.
Well, I mean, Jennifer is like a Dolores Catania. She's really a hype woman. She doesn't have much storyline of her own. So she's Evelyn's flunky, Evelyn's flotsam and jetsam. You could always get another Jennifer. She's very replaceable.
And honestly, Kristen comes in. You saw how Kristen was doing? Like she was going from Jennifer and then telling that to Evelyn. And I didn't like that.
Well, I mean, you've got to have a bone carrier. And now that she doesn't have Cece, what else is she going to do? But you see Phoebe is jockeying for the Jennifer position because she's being very loyal to Evelyn, never trying to outshine her, taking all of her advice. Phoebe is puckering up and kissing ass. Now that I've seen where she lives and how she lives, I understand why, because anything is better than that abject poverty she's been sentenced to by her baby daddy.
Well.
And should have secured the bad news, Larry King's widow, Shawn King, files papers contesting his will. Girl, he didn't leave her shit. Not a Kleenex, not a goodbye, not even a thank you for your services.
Damn.
I mean, you're married to somebody 400. That's when you start squirreling away. That's when it's like, okay, look, everything needs to be in my name because your kids ain't putting me out.
Wow. Was she like the new wife?
Newish. They had been planning on a divorce, but then she says they was going to get back together, and he clearly cannot speak for himself. If I was the kids, I'd give her $500,000 and send her on her merry way because most of his money is in trust anyway. But I'm like, dang, you didn't even get a policy for your troubles. That's sad. But you didn't secure the bag.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's marrying Coots 101.
And did you hear about Tom Girardi? They're putting him out his house, that $16 million house.
That house is going to be sold at auction and the proceeds will go to the people that he ripped off.
Yep, stealing from crash victims.
Mm-hmm.
And Erica Jane, she's just pretending like none of it's happening.
Well, I guess that's it. Well, I'll see you sooner than B. Simone sees credibility.
And I'll see you sooner than your next shade to Beyonce.
I tried.
You did.
Okay. I can't talk about Lil Uzi Vert and that diamond again.
I'm not. I refuse. Unless it popped out his skull, I don't care.
I would find it and I wouldn't give it back.